So the question you may be asking is, why is he saying this? What has this got to do with how to create a $1 million practice? It's everything to do with how to create a $1 million practice. It's the fundamental way to create a $1 million practice, because unless your why is big enough, you won't do anything in this world. Unless you have a big enough reason to do something, you won't think about that thing and you won't act upon that thing and you won't get the results to go and do that thing. It's great thinking, I want to create a $1 million practice, but I ask of you, is this really what you want? Or is it just some fantasy idea that you have in your mind, but that thing never happens, but you're so frustrated because you've got this idea and the frustration drives you nuts, but you have this frustration and then you think one day will happen, one day I'll get financially free, one day this will happen, but the day never comes. Why is it that sometimes we create goals, yet we don't carry them out, we don't action them? Sigmund Freud talked about this. He said sometimes we inject something called the superego into our lives, which is a parent figure or somebody in authority, an authority figure into our lives, and then we judge our lives according to that authority figure, and everything we do and everything we say, we compare ourselves to this fantasy figure, to this authority figure, rather than honoring the true magnificence of who we are. You spend money in order to compensate for that shame and guilt. You go out and buy high brand things, high quality things, the Armanis, the Gucci's, and the Pradas, and the Jimmy Choo shoes, and the Jimmy Choo shoes, and the Jimmy Choo shoes. And I say be the brand. As time went on, the practice got more and more busy, as what happens when practices get busy and the lights were on. And then people started turning up and saying, do you have a job? So, I don't know, I may have a job. What do you do? I'm a nurse and I live in the local area. Can I have a job with you, Dr. Oprah? And I would really love to work at this practice. So I had to learn how to interview. Why is this important? Well, practitioners come to me with their problems. They say, well, Dr. Oprah, now I've got a problem with my practice. So what's the problem with your practice? I've got a conflict with my nurse. I said, what's going on with my nurse? Well, I got this problem with her. I see things this way. She thinks this way. And we've got this big tension going on in the practice. It's taking my time off my practice. It's making me inefficient. It's costing me money. I don't know what to do. So I have to go in there a bit like the equalizer and dissolve all those conflicts that are going on and bring that back to sanity. But instead of doing that, why not, in the beginning of any relationship, get that ironed out first? So this is really essential for those people who haven't got a practice and they're thinking of getting staff. It's vital at this moment in time and the timeline to really get clear on what your values are, understand the vision of the practice, and then bring the team into that practice and have congruency with that. Because I want to know what you want to do. What's your life about? I don't want a stranger in my practice. Okay, some people may say keep your personal things outside of your practice. But it's going to affect your practice anyway, so why not embrace it and say, let me care about my staff member enough to care about what's going on in their life. You know, some practices have this glorified websites and they say, we're a caring practice, while they're beating the crap out of the nurse who didn't mix the alginate right. Care about your team, and I want to care about my team, so I want to know about everything that's going on in their life. What are your vision for your life? What's your purpose on this planet? The only thing I needed to walk into that practice was to see that patient and to fix that tooth. That's highest priority action step for me in that business. If you can do that, if you can manage your team, manage your practice, so you can just walk, you're nodding your head, right? Absolutely, both of you, yeah, absolutely. You're nodding your head, say, what's going on, who's it? Mrs. Jones, right, Mrs. Jones, sit down, how can I help you? That's a friggin' efficient practice. Mrs. Jones, how can I help you? That's all I want to say in my practice when I walk in at 9 o'clock in the morning. I don't know, oh, the pipes have burst, Dr. Oprah, there's an alginate run out. Ah! Take your pick.